So how did you meet Sean?
Oh my gosh. His aunt introduced us on my 18th birthday in Morris, Oklahoma at the basketball game. I know probably everybody in town knows the story. I've probably shared it many times. But I was so starstruck by his beauty. I mean, he was like the most gorgeous man I've ever met in my life. And I was just enamored. And he just said hi, and I was just speechless. Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you for watching Mornings with Missy. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch this program, and join us live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.
Good morning, friends. Thank you for joining me on this morning's episode of Mornings with Missy. Today we're going to be touching on a very tender subject, something very real, and that is the loss of a spouse. In light of the events that have taken place and unfolded in very real time in our nation over the last 10 days, and I'm talking about the death of Charlie Kirk, it has really brought to mind my friends, both near and far, who have endured the loss of a spouse over the last 1, 5, and 10 years. Because I know that those moments that occur nationally may seem so not close to us, but then for others, it's such a triggering moment. And so I wanted to take the opportunity today to introduce you to one of my very good friends. And before we get there, I do want to pause and recognize Reba's Buds and Blooms for our beautiful flower arrangement that they've provided for us again today. So thank you to them. So let me introduce you to my very precious friend, Stephanie Tomlinson. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming this morning, this early morning,
Yes.
To visit with us. So just tell me, as we're getting started, tell me how you ended up back in Henryetta and your journey from here and back.
Oh, well, I graduated from Henryetta, and
Oh yes,
a long time
former
ago.
Miss Labor Day queen. We are in presence of royalty.
I graduated and I went to college, just like most young people do. And I was gone for about 30 years. In the interim, life happened, a family happened, and then a loss happened. And so to kind of just figure out what does life look like, I came home, like most people do. They come to where they're loved and surrounded and supported. So I moved my 2 boys, and we came home in December of 2020. And so I've been back here since then. So
Yeah. So tell me. Okay. Let's say your husband's name. Tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
My husband was Sean Tomlinson, and he has family here as well. His whole family was from here, and I met him here.
I don't know if you recall this, but the very first time that I met you, we were in a nail salon together. And you were behind me having a pedicure, I was having a manicure, and you were chatting with the tech, and they were talking about your husband and how sorry they were for your loss. And I turned and asked you, what was his name? Do you remember that?
I do.
And you said, oh my goodness, thank you for asking.
Yes.
And not to talk over you
No.
at all, but my cousin lost her husband about 17 or 18 years ago when their infant son was brand new. And that was just one of the things that she has told me over these years, is she said, always ask their name. And this week I was listening to some of the footage of Charlie Kirk, and he quoted Ernest Hemingway, actually, where he said, man will die twice, once when he's put in the ground, and the second death is when his name is no longer spoken. And that hit me again. I was like, oh gosh, it's so important.
It is. I don't think I ever realized how important it was, and you don't want people to forget.
Yeah.
It's not just for you or for his parents, it's for his children.
Yeah.
And for all that he stood for and all that he was. So, yeah, he's a constant for us.
Yeah. So how did you meet Sean?
Oh my gosh. His aunt introduced us on my 18th birthday in Morris, Oklahoma at the basketball game. I know probably everybody in town knows the story. I've probably shared it many times. But I was so starstruck by his beauty. I mean, he was like the most gorgeous man I'd ever met in my life. And I was just enamored. And he just said hi, and I was just speechless. Yeah, pretty much. He was an older man. He was 22.
Oh,
and I had just turned 18. He was finishing up last classes at Tahlequah at NSU, and it was just maybe a couple of weeks after we went on our first date. I think we just went uptown, which is a thing here in Henryetta. And I think we probably went to Sonic and Drug Main a few times and just talked. And that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently him too, because we know how that story goes. So you moved to Oklahoma City area, and
I did after I graduated. I went to college at Oklahoma City University that August, and he ended up coming up to Oklahoma City that following January and started working there. And then, ironically, not too much later, I got a little job over there too due to different circumstances, and we actually ended up working together. Not in the exact office that whole time, but for about 20 years.
Yeah, oh, that's fantastic. And then, so life happens and you start having babies, and
we did. A little bit of a journey to get there. We kind of, followed life's path, and about 10 years later we got married, and then a little soon after we had our first son. And then a few years later we had our second son. So we have two boys, and
yes,
I love them.
And I will just say, I mean, I didn't know Sean, but I've seen those boys, and they're beautiful boys.
Thank you.
So I know you're proud of them. So tell me, you brought your cup. We always do a segment here on the show of Cup of the Week, and you brought a cup with you. So
I did.
Share that with me.
This is my cup. Of course, most people are like, "What is that? A tree or something?" But it's an ornament.
Yeah, correct.
And so, why this is special to me is that one of the Christmases soon after Sean had passed, my oldest son had got this for me as a gift with coffee, because that's what I love, is coffee in the mornings. And it was just such a special reminder how he stepped up and filled the gap to ensure that I had a good Christmas, and I value it. Yeah, it's special to me.
Yeah,
and I drink out of it every single day. It's a reminder of my why.
Yeah. So Sean passed in 2020, and of course, 2020 we all know, the year of COVID.
Yes.
Tell me about the circumstances of his passing and the transition through that. It was
the year of COVID. It was the year of all things that were not normal for us. Ironically, that was my oldest son's senior year. And so we had already, we were looking forward to such a great, wonderful year, his spring baseball season. And then COVID happened and the world kind of shut down. We pretty much were at home, from March to, I don't even remember when. So from about March on, we were all four together at home. So we had kind of gotten through. We were able to work from home. And so, ironically, he had a heart condition. And
Did you know that prior to?
Yes, he had had it since he was 20, or diagnosed at his age of 20. And he had just had a clean bill of health, just looking good, all the things. But he had a few procedures that we had gone through together, pretty serious procedures. That's why the clean bill of health, so to speak. I mean, everything was looking good and great.
Yeah.
And I remember him talking to his cardiologist. He was on the back porch talking. It was the end of May, 27, 28, something to like that, which is significant because he passed June 16th in our home with us there. And so it was a pretty traumatic morning.
I
Yeah, but
I
it was-
can only imagine that it was. Yeah, that's a hard thing to take, isn't it?
It was, and for your boys to be a part of, and for all the actions that occurred and events, and to make sense of it. Hence why, a lot of the reason why I felt like, we were there for a few months following, but it was just a little too much. And I don't know, you just try to pray and you try to ensure you're doing the right thing for your boys. And I was always, what would Jesus do? But in my daily personal, I also say, well, what would Sean say? What would he do? What would we do? But I have, one of the biggest things is I have followed what our plans were for our children in our lives. He wanted to move home. So I just felt, a lot of praying and felt led to come here.
Yeah, well, you've shared too, prior to that, I think, wasn't there some changes with your home situation and where you were kind of transitioning anyway?
He wanted to come home.
Okay.
He wanted to come home after he retired, so he wanted to move home, and then so that's kind of another thing that I felt like was good.
Yeah.
And ironically, we live next to his dad now. He would have loved that.
Yeah,
he would
yeah,
have.
that is awesome. So, you always hear that first year is the hardest, but I've also been told by people like yourself that have walked through this that, yes, the first year is hard, but you're still such in a fog that it's really the second year that becomes perhaps even more real.
Yeah. I felt like the first year was kind of shock and peace. That's how I felt. I felt peace that I knew that he had a relationship with the Lord, and I knew that to be absent from the body, to be present with the Lord. So that gave me great comfort.
Absolutely.
But I also knew that, it's not utter disbelief, but it's just the shock. And I think it's almost a natural human protective. It protected you. It protects you some. I think the second year I felt like I was falling out a little bit.
That's a great description.
Because I didn't feel frozen. I made a lot of decisions and a lot of actions. I really stepped out in great faith and did a lot of things the first year, trying to take care of business. I was trying to take care of business. I felt like I almost became how he was with us, just like, what do we got to do? What's best for the boys? Let's, you're processing and thinking and surviving a little bit. The second year, you're thawing out and you're kind of having some realizations and thinking and looking back, and not a lot of what ifs, but just, I don't know. It was an interesting second year. I think the third year, I felt for my personal self, I started to kind of process things and deal with it. I will be really honest. It was the month after he passed, and we were still in Choctaws where we lived at the time. And I remember having such grave physical pain in my heart that I literally just stopped. And I just thought, I cannot leave my boys. And I literally cried out to God. And I was like, you've got to stop this. I cannot, this is not my time. I do not choose this. I rebuke this. And I just needed the pain to stop. And he did. I literally felt such a storm around me and this pain physically, and it just stopped in a second. It was amazing. I'd never experienced anything like that. And I prayed that he would shut my emotions down so that I could go forward. And he did. And it was so crazy because about a year and a half later, which would be year 2, I prayed, okay, Lord, I can let you start giving me a little bit of my emotion back, because it is just so raw and it's so powerful. And so I was appreciative of that.
Oh, wow. That's such a testimony. Your faith obviously has just held you up and sustained you. And when I say faith, I can have faith that this table is going to hold my coffee, but we're talking about your faith in Jesus Christ.
Yes, yes, He has carried me.
Mm-hmm.
He has walked beside me. He has carried me. And everyone's prayers, there were so many people praying for us. They have sustained us. It's just been such an experience, and I just have to give Him all the glory, seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I'm nothing without Him.
Yeah, that's true of all of us, without a doubt. So what would you say has been your something that you can pass along to those young grieving, or it doesn't matter the age, a grieving spouse, that you've learned through this process?
Something I could pass along. I was super blessed to be able to be around people that not only supported me, sometimes you don't know what you need at the time.
Mm-hmm.
People stepping in to help when you're just almost shut down or not. Everyone's walk is so different. I have friends that are grieving through other types of losses that are not spouse, and just being there and showing up. Sometimes you don't even know that you need it. Sometimes you just appreciate people asking and we want to get together. Can I call you? Can I do this? We had friends step up and bring meals, cards, text messages, calls.
So let me ask, is it better when someone texts or reaches out in whatever format that may be? Let me know if I can do anything, or if it's better if they just show up and do.
I've thought about that a lot, and I think sometimes kind of goes back to what I said, you don't know what you need, really. I think the people, when I reflect back, I think it's the people who showed up. Mm-hmm. But I don't have anything against the ones that just called or text, because they were doing what they felt or felt led to do at the time.
Absolutely.
Kind of all of it.
Yeah, I don't mean to
to
say that a text message expressing your concern and all. I just know that whatever it may be, whatever you're going through,
Right.
the birth of a child, it could be,
Sure.
or hospitalization or something, and you just you have so many phone calls and text messages. Let me know if I can help. Tell me what I can do. And at the time, you're just you don't necessarily know.
Right.
So, I have not experienced personal loss the way that you have. I've walked with some people through it, and you're right. It's just the showing up.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks are so scared, I guess, of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, and I don't think that you can ever make a mistake by just being present.
Absolutely.
In someone's life.
Absolutely. That was my biggest thoughts when you were talking, just to be present.
Yeah.
To just being, just showing up, and just being.
Yeah.
Just being, and it doesn't even have to be about that. It could just be coffee or a Sonic drink with somebody, or just anything that's just something. I even at the end when we were fixing to move, I had a few of my friends that I'd known for years, met them through work. They showed up and helped me move. I was just kind of stuck. I didn't want to stay, but I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
And they just were my hands and feet and helped with so many things. And so we didn't talk about anything. We didn't have to get into my feelings. Or they were friends with him too. And they're grieving. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned. It wasn't just about me, and it wasn't just about my kids. He had a mom. He had a stepmom and a dad that were still here. His mom had already passed. But he had friends, and he had coworkers, and he had people too. Mm-hmm. And so our friends who were trying to show it for me, they were hurting too. Mm-hmm. And I think at the time you don't really realize that. But that's something that when you start to thaw or you start to go through your journey, you start to realize too.
How are the boys?
How are they?
Yeah.
They're wonderful. They are so great. They're beautiful and wonderful. And gosh, he would be so proud of them. Yeah, they miss him. Yeah. Of course.
So did you all go through any, everybody grieves different.
Sure.
And there's I mean, there's healthy and there's unhealthy ways to grieve.
Right.
But everyone has to grieve in their own way, and heal in your own way. Did y'all go to any family counseling or anything like that? What was your counseling alternative, if not?
We did not go to a licensed counselor. We had a lot of pastors, former and present. We had a lot of people that were godly people that were speaking into us, praying for us, showing up, being. The Lord sent a lot of, just for my kids specifically, sent a lot of good God-fearing men in their lives, and that is such a gift.
Oh,
and
for
they
sure.
still communicate with my kids. Our kids, my kids, sorry. I feel like it's so, I just, anyway. They still reach out. They're still present. They show up. They showed up to games. They text on their birthdays. They call them. They reached out. I mean, that to me is such a blessing for me to know that there was good people in their lives.
yeah. There are. I know some of them, and those guys are just easy to love too.
Thanks.
So, have there been some resources that have been special for you through this? Have there been any books or scriptures, perhaps, that have you spoke of one earlier?
Yeah, 2 Corinthians, I think it's 5:8, and Joshua 1:9 has kind of been our scripture as a family, to not be afraid, to have courage and faith, and to keep pushing forward. And I think that was a testament to how he lived his life too, with great courage and integrity and honor. Some of the greatest qualities that I respected in him.
So, do you have any funny stories, or just what's your favorite memory of Sean?
Oh my gosh, so many memories. I was so blessed. People say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for your loss," and I say, I look at it as a blessing. Yes, it hurts. Like I would do anything for him to be here, but I also know that I had almost 30 years, 29, and some people may not be able to have that type of relationship with him. He was my best friend, and he was so honoring. He was just kind of a country boy, and we lived in the big city, and he loved to hunt and fish and do all the things, and he loved music and sports, obviously. Big sports guy, but I don't really have anything that really jumps out at me this morning.
Did he play sports in high school? What?
He played soccer when he was younger, and he played baseball. And so baseball was kind of the thing. And I remember our first child being in his bouncy chair, and literally he was throwing a little ball at him, Brendan, like catching a ball. So
Now,
it was all about sports.
Both of your boys, Brendan played college baseball, and you've got Aiden. He's at OU right now.
Yes.
Playing as a freshman.
He is.
We're excited for that season to kick off.
Thanks.
Boomer.
Yes, absolutely. Sooner. Yes, they're doing well and doing things that I know that he would be proud of. They have good integrity as well, and they make great choices, and I'm very proud of them for that.
I sure do appreciate you jumping here this morning and sharing your heart. Are you available for other women who are going through this process for encouragement?
Yes, absolutely.
You shared with me this week that you had really prayed and over these last 5 years that the Lord would give you a platform to be able to either, whether it be just to share and in your continual journey to healing, or if it were to help others. Hopefully this has been an opportunity for you to do that. You said you've suppressed so many of your emotions for the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's been, I've just never wanted to not, to not really truly represent the Lord and all He's done for me through this process. I would absolutely be honored to help someone and to help them walk through it. It's a lot, and it is so personal. And just to know and to pray for people. I see people, especially like on social media, and they're going through process. I try to reach out and definitely pray for them because it is a lot. It's a lot to go from 2 parents to 1, no matter if your kids are little or old or what season of life that you're in.
Did you go through all of those typical 7 stages of grief? You know, the disbelief, the anger, the denial?
I don't discount anyone for going through anger, but I don't think I ever had that. I remember, you mentioned Charlie Kirk earlier, and I saw the media footage of Erica by his coffin, and I remember that moment, and I remember being down there at the funeral home here in town, and I just, you're in disbelief, but you're also going, he's not here. His body's here, but he's not. He's with the Lord, and it brought me peace. And I felt like God knows when our time is. We don't. We have a free will, and we can make choices that could maybe change our, path. But I just really feel like, how can I be angry when he knew it was his time to come home? And that's just how I have believed and kind of worked through that.
Yeah, that's great words. And it's very comforting in knowing that.
It is.
Absolutely. Stephanie, I thank you so much for being here with us this morning. It's such a delicate situation, a delicate conversation, but that was truly the intent of this show, is to meet real women with real stories and have real conversations. And you've helped us to do that today, because this is something that, at one time or another, we will all walk through. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. This is Mornings with Missy. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. and see who will be our next guest. We appreciate you coming by. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Mornings with Missy. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch this program, and join us live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.